Now, this is a top 10 list based on gross market value traded. And on this list, there are some names that I'm familiar with, such as Apple. You can take a guess where Apple actually stands. Leave them in the comment sections. And there are some names that I've never heard of before. I do some research to share a little bit more with you also. So on this list, I hope to give you some value-added ideas, what to look forward to, but they are definitely not a buy and sell recommendation. If this is a list that might interest you, continue watching on. Hi guys, welcome back. Now without further ado, let's dive onto the list itself, and the first name, which is number 10 on this list, is actually a company that I actually got to know at the start of this pandemic, and this company is actually DocuSign. Have you used DocuSign before? Because if you have, leave in the comment sections what are your thoughts as a consumer. Because in the end, I didn't take the paid version of it. Adobe just seems to be good enough as a solution as we move towards digital signatures. So DocuSign actually registered tremendous growth because everybody had to do digital signatures more than previously. And moving forward, this is definitely a new change that's towards each and every business transaction as we see. I've also done some research. This is actually from FSM1. Some numbers in terms of the revenue, and what do you realize? Revenue has been growing very strongly across the last 5 years. Not only that, gross profit is also growing at a very tremendous pace. So indeed, DocuSign seems to be doing well on the surface. I don't know full details of it, especially which parts are the most lucrative. But I do know from the surface that Adobe is an immediate competitor, and Adobe seems, in my opinion, a very established player. And let's look at the chart for Adobe also. What do you realize? That Adobe's price has also skyrocketed tremendously. So everybody in this digital document signature service is really doing quite well. So whether Adobe or DocuSign is a better company to own, you decide for yourself. And then let's move on to number 9 on the list. Number 9 is a name that I actually got to know from a friend. He actually felt bullish about it because this company was a customer of where he's working with. And this company is Nvidia. Nvidia, if you don't really know, is the number 1 chip maker company in the world. I guess chip making, as we move towards artificial intelligence, AI, there'll be a lot of requirements for sophisticated computer chips, fast processors, etc. etc. I don't know too much about Nvidia, and as I look at their website, they have some arms in gaming, but gaming likelihood is not the biggest revenue. It definitely is the AI potential in my opinion. And this chip making part, a natural competitor to compare against would be Intel, because Intel makes processing chips, but Intel is a very old business. So Nvidia seems to be this new up and coming thing that's going to take over the domination of this space. And what we can see is Nvidia has actually purchased, or is in the process of purchasing ARM Limited together with SoftBank's Vision Funds money. Wow. I mean, if they really integrate something sophisticated, Nvidia may have a very big part to play in the AI future of our lives. So let's move on to number 8 on this list. And number 8 is something that definitely you're familiar with also, and this name is Alibaba. Alibaba, there's nothing special that I can share with you other than things that it's listed in Hong Kong as well as in New York. But maybe the interesting part that you may not know is Alibaba owns 33% of Ant Financial. As of this time of filming, Ant Financial is considering to do an IPO. So if they do, and if they raise money at substantial valuation, Alibaba's 33% stake could be worth quite a lot of money. So that is something interesting that I'd like to share with you on Alibaba. So who's number 7 on the list? Number 7 is a name that I'm sure if you open up your smartphone, you'll be using some of the apps that they are actually owning itself. This company is none other than Facebook. So Facebook, as we know, it's looking like having the domination of the more mature market. The faster growing pie obviously is Instagram. Instagram is bringing in a lot of younger generation, and a lot of Instagram models can actually shape how consumer trends are moving forward in future. You can look at Kendall Jenner, you can look at Gigi Hadid, look at a lot of young American teenage sensations, and they are actually using Instagram to build their wealth. And actually, Kendall Jenner's sister, Kylie Jenner, has actually built an empire from Instagram itself, and she was rumored to be worth close to $1 billion. So not only Instagram, Facebook also owns WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, they have about 2 billion users worldwide. So WhatsApp is definitely a potential growth engine as they find ways to monetize it. Actually, Facebook tried to do so. They actually did try to do a WhatsApp Pay in Brazil, But as I checked on latest news, actually WhatsApp Pay has been suspended in Brazil. They have not gotten authorities' approval, so that proof of concept has not come through yet. So now let's move on to number 6 on that list. And actually, I have to admit, number 6 is a company that I have never heard of before. Have you heard of CROWDSTRIKE before? I don't know why Singapore traders have picked up on CROWDSTRIKE, but nonetheless, let me share with you what CROWDSTRIKE actually do. If you look at this screenshot of here, they actually do a lot of security, correct? And especially as things move towards cloud, security is actually becoming a very important domain of things. So offhand, I do think CROWDSTRIKE is in a very nice space, a very high margin space that's going to be in demand by each and every sector. Look at it. You would see cybersecurity for networks, for law firms, for finance firms. Each and every company needs security. I think that is a fantastic business to be in. CROWDSTRIKE is one of the smallest in terms of market cap in this whole list itself. That's something I can share with you. They are worth less than 50 billion as of now. Everybody in the list is mega size. But still, CROWDSTRIKE is drawing a very good growth rate in terms of revenue. Take a look at this. In 2017, their revenue was $52.7 million. But as of 2020, their revenue is going to be $481 million. Almost 10 times growth. Wow, that is fantastic. In 3 years' time, 10 times growth. So that's definitely a company that you can keep in mind, or hopefully look out if you're purchasing funds they are buying into US equity. Hopefully CROWDSTRIKE is one of the holdings and you can get some indirect exposure to that company itself. Now, up until here, we still haven't reviewed where Apple actually sits on. So still take a guess, leave it in the comment sections, and before we get there, smash the like button so more people can see valuable content like this. And again, if you haven't subscribed, inviting you to be part of our family. Now let's move on to number 5 on this list, and number 5 is really a company that is hot. I am getting to know it a little bit better, so I'm sure younger traders are roaring about its potential, and this company is none other than Square. Now what exactly does Square do? Square is actually like a payments company, so they actually have an arm in that direction. They are looking to be more like a fintech company, in my opinion at least. So they're doing payment transactions, they're actually doing a lot of other services, loans, credit, that kind of thing, especially as they integrate small businesses with consumers. So they are playing that important role. So when I look at Square, I do think of Ant Financial again. Ant Financial seems to be something that comes up to mind, especially in the Asian context. I'm not too sure if Square can actually dominate the Asian space, because Ant Financial is definitely in that same space itself. But if you have a different view, leave it in the comment sections also. Square has actually been picked up by ARK Invest. ARK Invest is right now very trending ETF, a trending fund manager itself. So what do they believe in is its enormous potential in monetizing the US consumer base. But my concern is really, can Square actually come to Asia itself? I'm not too sure about it. But still, Square still has a lot of room to grow in a lot of ways. So now let's move on to the 4th company on that list, number 4. And this company might be something you're using also. It's something that I'm using on a day-to-day basis ever since this pandemic, and this company is Zoom. They are actually growing in terms of market cap. They are becoming more and more valuable, especially as they seem to be very well prepared to benefit from this whole pandemic. I've heard of competitors unable to scale and take advantage of these opportunities, but Zoom, they seem to be well prepared. There was not much problems adopting the service and eventually using their premium services. So I've actually showed this image before in a previous video. If you have been following this channel for a while, you do know that Zoom is already bigger than 7 of US biggest airline companies in combination in terms of market cap. But so right now, they are more than twice the size of the 7 in combination. So Zoom really is taking over business transactions. They are really providing businesses a function to communicate very effectively. Not only that, Zoom right now is valued more than IBM, a company which has been around for eons. So IBM right now is smaller in size than even Zoom. So that's a very interesting point to note. So now let's move on to number 3 on this list. Could it be Apple? Actually, it's not. This company is a company that I've never heard of before, but it's also in a sector that is very hot. And that sector is electric vehicles. Now, what is this company? This company is NIO. So NIO is actually a Chinese electric vehicle company. So I've never heard of it before. I went to do some study on it just to see what they actually do. And what I found out that they also have state funding, which is Chinese monies pouring into it as they chase Tesla. Wow. You know, electric vehicles, the association is definitely with Tesla, but I do believe that as they get in the marketplace, you know, Chinese players, Chinese electric vehicles are definitely going to compete for that pie. And it seems that NIO is one of the names that are at the forefront of things. So NIO again is very interesting. It seems to be led by someone also very charismatic, so let's see how it turns out down the years. So who is number 2 on the list? Number 2 is Apple. Of course, Apple, you definitely know about it already. Maybe you're a consumer of Apple. I'm filming this using an Apple iPhone. So the interesting part that I have to share with you is not really in the direction of, you know, the business valuation of Apple. Warren Buffett owns Apple. That's something that maybe you already know. But the interesting part I have to show you is, you know, iPhone 12, which is a new product that are going to launch to the market, is not coming with a charger. This is actually by Reddit. So very interesting. I don't know what's the marketing strategy behind it. Or maybe they just want people to talk about it and, you know, leave something out. So, you know, that's free marketing. So maybe that's very clever. But the interesting part about Apple that you may not know already is that they are also interested in this electric vehicle space. I have no idea why. Electric vehicles seems to be this big domain that everybody wants a pie in. And even Apple, being a technology company, is keen to get into electric vehicles. Which brings me to number 1. Because, you know, electric vehicles for number 3 and number 2, who is number 1? Of course, this company most actively traded in September 2020 on Phillip Securities. I'll leave a link below to the research paper that's actually backing this whole discussion. It's actually Tesla. Yes, Tesla is such a hot company right now that, you know, as I see new investors, you know, even on this channel itself, I've seen Tesla being mentioned frequently. Tesla indeed has a first mover advantage in this electric vehicle. I've actually, you know, someone in my neighborhood driving a Tesla, and it's huge. It looks splendid, honestly. So Tesla's brand shines through. I imagine, you know, being a first mover, they actually command this mind share whereby if someone wants prestige, they're looking to drive the Tesla. So fantastic, they've actually gotten this mind share. But I also do know that Tesla is not only in electric vehicles. Many have pointed out before that Tesla is going in terms of the energy space. That is why analysts have actually called him, you know, the Edison of our generation, because he's trying to reshape the whole energy business. Batteries are an important portion of Tesla. It's not only electric vehicles. I do understand that, and maybe if you haven't seen it before, hear about that point of view. There is a lot of optimism, and there's even channels on YouTube that are focused on Tesla's battery concept. So this one particular one, Tesla fans definitely know his channel. So there are even channels dedicated to Tesla. So that's how much hype Tesla is commanding right now. And indeed, it's no surprise that the number 1 traded in terms of value, market value, from Singapore traders itself. Now, are there any surprises on that list that you'd like to share a comment or two? Leave them in the comment sections. I'll pick up them in discussion also. For me personally, I'm quite surprised to see names like Spotify, Twitter, Shopify, or even Amazon not in the top 10 list based on market value traded. So that's something interesting. I didn't know so many Singaporeans are familiar with CROWDSTRIKE or where they are sourcing, you know, their kind of research from. So with that, I'd like to end things off by introducing you to a few other videos. One is something that I've done on trading, a trading psychology video, and the other one is on US equity. Why I believe US equity, you know, maybe, you know, at its peak in a certain point of view. So with that, I'll invite you to either of these videos that might help you a little bit further in your understanding towards investing in US shares. With that, I'll sign off. I'll see you in a future video. Take care and goodbye.